step into the haunted halls of Spooky School. Each week, we take the fearless Jimmy on a journey through uncharted horror territory as we introduce him to spine-tingling movies he's never seen before. Beware, dear listeners, for the chilling tales we unravel may leave you sleeping with the lights on. Here are your hosts, Professor Spooky and Jimmy.
Happy New Year's, bitches!
Happy New Year's, bitches. Welcome to another episode of Spooky School!
Spooky School!
I am so happy to be here. By the time you're watching this, it's going to be a brand new year, but for us, we still got mere hours left.
Mere hours. I mean, it is 3:40, and I have at least 4 more loads of laundry before I can go home and do anything. But, yeah.
That's a badass way to bring in the new year, pals, just doing laundry.
Dude, that is what I'm saying. I'll send you this pic when I'm done. Maybe we could insert it in on the podcast. But so my New Year's Eve partying is our laundry machine's out. So I'm here at my parents' house when they're out in Oregon celebrating real New Year's Eve things, and I've got my interface set up for guitar recording. I've got my notes all for you. I'm hooked up to the mainframe here. I got Junebug over here. I got loads of laundry waiting for me, and just because to try and keep it festive, I got playoff football in the background. So
hell yes, ringing in the new year with style.
Dude, it's
quite literally all your clothes are going to be clean by the time you get the New Year's rolled in.
I know. I sincerely apologize for absolutely bumming it, but you can only see the t-shirt, which is fine. You can't see my tattered sweatpants beneath me. So
at least you're wearing pants for this.
Yeah. Yeah, every other episode is a pantless episode, but you won't be able to tell, viewers.
You can't tell, not for this one.
No, but you might be able to tell for the next one because I'll get a widescreen.
Hell yeah. You gotta pay extra for that. That's not going on Patreon. That's spookyschool.com or onlyfans.com/spookyschool.
No. We're going to spookyfans.com.
Hell yes. Because everything we upload on that's going to violate OnlyFans' TOS.
For sure, dude. For sure.
I've never looked into that. I actually kind of wonder what they just don't allow.
I mean,
I know it's like a British company, so they have like really weird like laws. Like, I'd have to look into this again. I remember face sitting being a thing that like you can't just put on video. Yeah, apparently it's just too obscene.
But that coming from the country that did ban pit bulls, like that's wild. Did you see that as of the new year, the whole country they're gonna like kill a few hundred bully breeds that are in
what?
Yeah, no, like if they're owned, you can register them and then be the last people to have bully breeds in the UK, but they're straight up euthanizing hundreds of bully breeds that are inside their shelters. Where the hell's
PETA on this?
Huh?
Where the hell's PETA on this?
That's
this
what
is
I'm saying,
the ethical
dude.
treatment of animals. Holy shit.
Yeah. So I'm sitting over here with mine going like, that's fine. We don't have to live in a more depressing, less mountainous area. So
I think your dog needs a couple brothers and sisters.
I think that she does too. Well, I'll have a whole fleet and just the American flag behind them all.
Hell yeah. Stick it to them.
I'm going to find the King George's number and I'm going to text him that every single day.
We could tie this into horror as well because the UK was pretty notorious for a list that they called the video nasties.
Oh, yeah?
And looking into this, right, I have never been more grateful to be an American ever.
Yeah.
Because it was a list of horror movies that were deemed too obscene. You just can't have them, right? They're not allowed to be... Not only is it like you're not allowed to sell copies of them, if you are caught with a copy of it, you will get fined and thrown in prison or like jail.
No shit.
You would get jail time for owning a horror movie.
That's insane, dude.
I know.
Like, for owning a piece of art. Like, sure, I'm sure that there's a handful of horror movies that actually make sense due to like how grotesque and everything it was in the film.
Bullshit. I'm cutting you off on that right fucking now, okay? I don't care what's in that. There is absolutely no line that you can cross in fake horror movies, emphasis on fake.
Yeah, emphasis on fake,
is like a thing that says like that would justify imprisoning somebody for owning or finding the people who made it, okay? I'm very hard line on this, and I'm sorry to keep cutting you off.
No.
But art should always exist. There is no reason to to try to censor it or stamp it out or do anything you can to block it. If it offends you or makes you upset in any way, you have the simple choice of not interacting with it.
Of just leaving it. Yeah, dude, I fully understand with that, but the only thing that popped into my head first was that guy who filmed his girlfriend getting drunk and throwing up for 2 hours.
Remember how I said fake? And even then, you know what? If you have a copy of that somewhere on a hard drive, who cares, right?
Right. Well, no, yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter if the person has it, but the person filming it should at least be looked into.
Some questions should be asked. Yeah.
Yeah. Should at least... He should be on a list somewhere, you know.
What that list is, we don't know. I don't think the FBI has a dirty pervert list. Probably.
Well, I mean,
if so, I'm on it.
Yeah. That's hilarious. No, I absolutely agree. So listen, there's all the shade to the UK right now because of their stupid horror movie laws and the bully breed. So proud to be an American on this New Year's.
Where at least I know I'm free.
At least I know I'm free.
At least I can watch my VHS copy of Driller Killer without having to face jail time.
Yeah. Yeah. The Exorcist wasn't a documentary.
I gotta do a whole lecture series on that. I'm gonna make you watch all of the video nasties.
Oh shit!
And then it'll just be like 12 episodes of us like in a row going like, "Wow, that was really a movie."
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay.
I like the part where the guy killed another guy with a drill by shoving it into his head. That movie's fucking gruesome.
Isn't that just the Netflix killer? That documentary they did on that killer with the hot guy.
Oh my god. Are you talking about Dahmer?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a documentary, it was a narrative series.
Oh, okay.
And there was like a huge backlash against it going like, this shouldn't exist, it's really terrible, blah blah blah, right? And I'm sticking with my principles on this one. It can and should exist, and also if you don't like it, you can do this thing called not watch it. But we live in this fucking time now to where everybody has to prove how morally good they are. And so they can't just go, oh, I don't want to watch a TV show about a serial killer. They have to fucking turn it into, I am a morally righteous, good person by not watching a TV show.
And that's the most annoying thing because it's like, yeah, okay, you didn't change it over to that channel, all right? We didn't see you break up a fight between like a child and a priest or whatever. Like, this is like...
You are changing the world by not watching a TV show.
You can go I was going to say Twitter or X, but all those people have made it to Threads. I keep on getting messages from Threads on Instagram saying like, come over to this platform, and it's always just like the most infuriating messages.
The most infuriating fucking bait post possible, right?
Literally. And it gets me half the time, but that's why I haven't done anything with it other than like occasionally I'll click on it because I'm like, oh, what's this? And then it's like, oh yeah, if you like this band, you're a fucking moron. And it's like, I already know I'm a moron. Why you gotta call me?
Why do you do that to me? I always get like the far right weirdos in my Instagram feed. I'm just trying to scroll through and it's just like one thought after another. And then all of a sudden there's like a thing on Threads and it's like, it'll just say like, it's okay to be white, like over and over and over again. And I'm like, you're trying to bait me. It's not going to work.
No, exactly. It's like, and also, it's like, why is anyone talking about it? We're all idiots. We're supposed to be talking about horror movies, not like that's our area of expertise, man.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, sure, I got a little bit of music, but even there, music is a little more subjective than horror, I would imagine. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again. What do you mean by subjective?
Like it's a lot more excusable to be like, oh yeah, you don't like this, like it makes sense, of course.
1,000%,
yeah. Whereas like horror movies, I mean, especially going back to a couple of the earlier ones that we watched, and in the zombie series, Night of the Living Dead for sure, is just like, this is like, you can categorize it as a horror movie and say that you hate horror movies, but really like this should be one that everyone watches, you know?
Okay. You're making 100% sense right now. You just gotta bear with me because agreeing with you would make for very boring content. Elaborate on that just a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's because of the many genres of music, like you could consider music being in the same mainframe as movies, where it's like yeah, if you don't like a certain genre, that's all good. It's completely understandable. Whereas if we're just going to pit music to horror in general, there is a lot of horror movies that like are definitely in the genre of horror, but as far as like not liking them, it's less of a Night of the Living Dead comes to mind. We're going through ones that we watch. Psycho is another one. I know it's not really horror, but I would definitely put like the first Godzilla film in there. It's monster killing people, you know. So
and the newest Godzilla in there.
Yeah, Godzilla -1, absolutely. But that I would wager is less of an argument stance than like not than just brushing over and saying like, oh, I don't like heavy metal, I don't like rock, I don't like rap, I don't like something like that.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with you based or disagree with you based in reality first, and then see how unhinged I can take this.
Okay.
Because again, if I just agree with you and say, "Oh yes, that makes for boring content," we have to be like the whole time.
Smash your head in right now. I want a broken camera.
Well, the way that you say it, right? I think that to me, at least, you can't really dismiss entire genres of music. Even if you don't like hip hop, there's objectively good hip hop albums. Same with like any genre that you can think of, right?
That's
unless it's something that's like completely unlistenable to you, like whatever Radiohead is. Just kidding. Half the people I pissed off with that. Unless it's completely unlistenable to you, right? Or even like give it a ban for a very specific example, Radiohead. Even if you don't like Radiohead has really good albums that you can just pick from, right?
Yeah.
And like are objectively good and pleasant to listen to. And I think it's really the same with horror as well. So even if you don't like horror, there's still horror movies that are really good that will I completely spaced on the word that I'm looking for, but bear with me here. I have dementia, okay?
They will not suck.
They will not suck. General audiences will still enjoy them. And then there's also the weird phenomenon on top of that where general audiences that will like them will do everything they can to be like, actually, it's not a horror movie because they need to justify liking a horror movie.
Oh, yeah, you know, that is fair. Kind of like me immediately going, Godzilla, but it's not really a horror movie when it is a giant monster that kills thousands of people.
Thousands of people. I think The Exorcist is like the best example.
Yeah.
Because I hear so many people all the time like, oh, it's more of a drama. It's got like some scary scenes in it, but really it's kind of like, no, it's a fucking terrifying horror movie that has really good drama on top of it.
I've not seen The Exorcist yet, but I know enough about it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not surprised by that. But that is, but that's also like, I was talking to my mother-in-law about that, where she is definitely not into horror movies whatsoever, but yet she saw The Exorcist, you know, because it was just kind of that culture phenomenon. And I don't recall her saying that she loved it or anything, but at least it was her like, oh yeah, I watched it in theaters, and like, you know, I saw it, I was there. It was the movie, you know.
It was the movie. It played on a screen. I screamed the entire time.
Yeah. Especially, she's I think she's 60, so yeah, she was definitely the prime age for a little girl losing her shit.
She's single? Just kidding.
Yeah, get up there, dude. Yeah. What's up? Father-in-law Wilkie.
It's a rough adjustment for everyone here, okay? You don't have to call me grandpa if you don't want to.
Yeah. Could you handle being Junebug grandpa?
I could, yeah. She's pretty cute.
Yeah, she's all right.
I'd be like a good grandparent and overfeed her all the time.
Yeah, she comes back. She was supposed to weigh 65 pounds. She comes back weighing 90. Just
90, just full of beef jerky for dogs.
Yeah. So turkey jerky. No, I don't know. No.
I gotta start eating more turkey jerky. That sounds pretty good, actually.
Dude, I remember when I was a kid, the Oberto teriyaki jerky was like the cream of the crop. I could have that whenever. It was so tender. I could eat the entire bag. Like, it, so good. And I don't see it many places now because the beef jerky world has totally taken over and been like, this is a market
that we can just invade.
Kind of like, you know, pouches that they throw in your mouth with like nicotine and different flavored anything, or like the alcoholic seltzer game. For whatever reason, beef jerky is, I never got the alcoholic seltzers. It's like, just give me a La Croix.
I never got alcohol.
Yeah, straight edge, dude.
Hell yeah.
Straight edge. I remember I saw that. I went to AWOL Nation show, and the guy had the two X's over both of his fists. Yeah, and,
introduce me.
Dude, I mean, it was a great show. I brought a girl that I had a crush on, and she got kicked in the head after saying that she didn't want to be my girlfriend, and so that was some.
Wait, by you?
No, don't worry.
Oh my God!
No, she later
Edit this out, Jimmy. You can't confess to crimes on a podcast like that.
No, I didn't hit her. Someone was crowd surfing, and then judo kicked her down.
Yeah, that's what you told the cops, right?
Yeah, someone named. No, I'm kidding. But no,
officer, we were at a show. Don't listen to her. She's concussed.
Right, which actually might be the reason why she agreed to go out with me a few weeks later. Anyways, so she didn't at the time, but then she got a little brain damage and was like, "This dude's all right," you know.
Wait, we didn't go on a date last week? Weird. I have a weird gap in my memory for some reason.
Yeah. I remember you picking me up and taking me somewhere, but then it was just a whole bunch of black, and then.
Go on though. You were saying about the show.
Oh yeah, I saw that he had the X's on his hands, and that was the first time. And just being a young kid, easily influenced by anything, like the gullible soul that I am, I saw that and I was like, that's gonna be a fucking sick tattoo. I want to get that tattooed as soon as I turn 18. And it was right before I thought about getting that tattoo, I learned that it was for straight edge people, and I was like, that I can't actually justify that. Not that I don't love a straight edge lifestyle and really commend your lifestyle, but
what is it that's in your hand right now, pal?
Yeah, that is called a mostly water.
That's what my dad said on the drives home from school.
Yeah, it's 91% water.
Yeah, it's in his lap open. He's like, it's just mostly water. Mind your business.
Yeah.
Also blow into this thing so we can turn the car on.
Dude, okay, so I
just kidding, by the way, that never actually happened. I want to get that on record. Sorry, go ahead.
I believe this actually happened. I was driving home. Speaking about vices, I was driving home from the local weed store, and but I was going to the one in White Center, which if you don't know White Center, that's one of Seattle's less than par neighborhoods. There's a lot of good restaurants and there's a lot of fun things to do, but if you're there too late, it might be a problem. But it may not be. But either way, this was a problem for me as I was leaving at 9, and I saw this lady in a U-Haul, not full box truck, but a F-150 style, rented U-Haul thing. And she was going all back and forth and going so slow. And I was just like, all right. So I'm going 3 miles an hour behind her, waiting to drive around and take a different street. And she's she at least stops at the red light, but she's stopping in 2 lanes and then almost diagonal, but nowhere near the actual stop. And so that's when I officially was like, okay, if I just shoot the gap and speed past her, I can get by, then I'll be safe because it looks like she's taking a left. And as I shot past her, do you know the Grateful Dead balloons or the big dude? She had a full fucking giant balloon that she was hitting while driving and just kind of swerving in and out, and I was just, oh no, dude. And so I booked it past and sped through a neighborhood where I'm sure there's children, just so I didn't get in danger with her, and just fucking booked it home because I was like, no, this lady's crazy.
I can't blame her. Moving's stressful.
Yeah. This thing was the size of a Nickelback beach ball, though. It was it was hard for her to bring up and down, so she just had it up in the visible part of the cabin because I guess she's like, this is fine. I don't need any of this.
I mean, she got to where she's at just fine. How is that anybody else's problem, right?
Well, yeah, I saw her take that left, and I fucking left myself. So.
You left yourself, and she left herself in pieces on the side of the road somewhere.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so behave yourself, kids.
Yeah,
Fine.
Especially on New Year's.
Yeah, absolutely. I brought 2 beers because I'm going to be here for 6 hours.
One for the ride home and
exactly.
One for the ride there.
Yeah. 2 beers on the ride home before I get to the end of the street. That's it. No, I'm kidding. Don't drink and drive, folks.
It's just without it, I'm going to be shaking the whole time. It's going to make me more dangerous as a driver.
Dude, yeah. My wife and I went to this comedy festival at the Gorge called Fully Loaded Fest, and it was, number one, awesome. The lineup was incredible, and it was It was at the Gorge, and we just camped there overnight. So, like, and the headliner, Bert Kreischer, is known for just being like a fucking party animal. So we brought.
Yeah. He was the guy. He just had like a movie come out, right? The Machine.
Yeah, The Machine. Yeah. So he was headlining, and then my wife and I have known Bert for a while, like known him through podcasts, like not personally, but like known him through like the podcasts that we listen to, and like have enjoyed his stuff, but also the rest of the lineup being like Mark Norman, Andrew Santino, Big J Okerson, Stavi, and just all these killers, and we really, really enjoy stand up. So we were just having like the time of our lives, and because it was a Bert Fest, we were definitely digging into the sauce a little bit. Like, we brought a little bottle of tequila, got a couple of Bud Lights, going, yeah, this is a party. And then even us, after partying for like 8 or 9 hours in a day, Bert finally takes the stage as the headliner, and he's shirtless. That's his whole shtick. And then he's holding a Bud Light and a microphone, and he's shaking so bad that my wife and I, after ourselves drinking all day, we look at each other and we're like, is he okay? Like, we're just genuinely worried about Bert right now. And it kind of took us out of it, because we saw it and he was like the most bloated I've ever seen him, and just like legit, just like all hands everywhere. And then it was like later,
you can see his liver like trying to poke out through his skin.
Literally just, I need out of here, dude.
Get
like,
me out.
And but it was like a couple days after that we heard him on a podcast, and that's when he's like, oh, I'm going 90 days on keto and sober and everything. And he did manage to lose a lot of the weight, and then like get back to not shaking levels, and like started looking way better for himself. But yeah, it was just funny that like we, as the headliner, he walked on, and before we even were done clapping, we're just looking at each other like, is he gonna
call
die?
somebody? Do we? Yeah.
Like, oh my god, this is maybe not okay. But yeah, he still killed it, so whatever.
And then himself after the show was over.
No, luckily that was over the summer, and his still breathing, knock on wood. But we'll see if when he ramps up his tour schedule again. So.
Pull through, pal. All right.
Yeah.
Celebration beers are on us once you get out of the hospital.
Yeah. Go in for rehab, but then come out in a little bit. It's fine. Like,
what better way to break in that new liver after a transplant?
I mean, you got to test out what you paid for.
Exactly.
Like, if you can't, you don't want to sit there and be like, did I get a bum one? I'm going to have to spend a couple nights deciding. So,
I got to figure this out. You know, what if I want to give it back?
Yeah. Yeah. What if this isn't what I needed?
Oh, no refunds. Okay.
Can't put it back in the guy because he's dead.
Can I just die?
Shit. Yeah, soon enough, Bert. No, I'm kidding.
Give it 2 years.
I'm kidding, Bert. I love you. Please stay forever. Or
I'm not kidding. You're going to die exactly March 24th, 2026.
Yeah. All right. I'll think about that bet.
$5.
Yeah. Well, enough about my ramblings. How the hell have you been this week?
I've been pretty good. You reminded me of a story as well where the very first hardcore show I ever went to was for a straight edge band called Judge.
Okay.
I had grown up listening to them quite a bit, and I had just they're one of those bands, kind of like Minor Threat, where they don't really have like separate albums available to buy. You can just get their entire discography on one record.
That's awesome.
Because it's all like 1 minute, 20-second songs, and it's all super fast, and it's all just fuck everybody. I'm straight edge, kill yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I bought that record. I was waiting for it to show up, and I just wanted to look more into the band. And then I was living in downtown Seattle at the time, right?
Yeah. Is this your Capitol Hill spot?
Yep.
Cool.
So I just looking them up, and then I saw that they were on their farewell tour.
Oh.
Their very last one, and that they were playing at El Corazon, a venue down the street from where I lived, the next day.
Shit, yeah. All right.
So got tickets for that. I have been to thousands of metal shows.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of expecting it to be almost the exact same, right? Of people pushing each other, mosh pit, all that fun shit, right?
Yeah.
The first band comes out on stage, and as like... You're the musician. What's the sound when they start playing? I know bands do this all the time where it's like the feedback noise.
Yeah.
Of like, and then they actually get into the riffs, right?
Uh-huh.
What is that called?
I mean, I would just call it feedback. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm a seasoned musician just like you, so it's the feedback noise. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the feedback starts playing. Not even the actual song, just the and then they get into the set. This girl, who has to be probably 5'2", leaps on my back, jumps on me, immediate fucking chokehold.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is cool, but at the same time, like, you win. I'm tapping.
Yeah, like,
I want to breathe. Please let me go.
I can't hit back. What are we doing? Like, literally.
And then she gets off me. I'm fighting for air. The lead singer, I forget what the opening band, I'm sorry, points to the no stage diving sign, says, fuck this sign, get up here. And we all just swarm the stage and start diving off the stage into each other. Oh, it was so fun.
Dude, that sounds like a fucking blast.
It was fucking great.
Did just out of happenstance, did that girl that put you in a chokehold, did she happen to be maybe of like Indian descent and usually wore a beanie and maybe had drumsticks? You know?
I know exactly who you're talking about, but no, it wasn't her.
Okay, because I remember
but
once.
Yes, I don't know that person's name. I have seen them at every single metal show I've gone to here.
Right. I only asked because
shouts out, by the way.
Shouts out to her. She's wild. She
or them. I don't know.
Yeah, them. Whoever. I haven't talked to them in forever.
We know who they are.
Yeah, but I was like
local
22.
Celebrity.
Yeah. I was like 22 or 23 and trying to interview drummers for a band, and she came into the place that I worked and said that she played drums, and I was like, all right, dude, let's have a meeting, let's do something. And so she wanted to have a meeting at this local pub in like Fremont, I think. But how I knew that she was a rock star and B, too much of a rock star for me is I got there and she's like, oh my God, so excited to talk about music. I would love to like be a drummer and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, as she was saying this, she was like, took maybe 3 shots in the like span of me meeting her. And then it was just like, yeah, what do you want? And I was like, yeah, maybe like just the Manny's, just like 1 beer, please, not like multiple shots of Jameson or whatever. And then she was hella cool, don't get me wrong, but I noticed
all
way
this is
too
alleged,
quick.
by the way. Don't sue us.
All alleged, yeah. Well, we didn't drop any names, you know. Just
because we don't know.
No, I cannot remember for the life of me. But
she has elbowed me in the stomach multiple fucking times. I don't know her first name though.
Yeah, I just remember her being really cool, but it was like at the end of or like 30 minutes to an hour into it, she like started falling asleep at the table, and then she was waiting for. Yeah, allegedly, and she was waiting for me, and I was just sitting here like, oh fuck, now I got to be the one to take care. Luckily, she had another friend at the bar that I was just like, hey, you guys are cool. You guys came in together. I didn't like. Please take care of her. I don't know her, so I'll see you later.
Peace.
Yeah. And toodaloo skis. And it's stories like that that save me from being the full-blown alcoholic that I should be.
Now you're just a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah. I put the fun in functioning, really.
Exactly.
Well, now that the alcoholic definition, I think is like more than 3 or 4 drinks a week. So like that's technically everyone's an alcoholic.
That's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's breakfast.
That's the shower.
Yeah. It's a shower after the gym, of course.
After working out, all the alcohol it's still in my body.
Yeah.
By sweating it out.
Yeah. I have a question for you because we're supposed to be reviewing the movie Zombie 2.
Oh, we'll get to it. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll totally get to it. Anyways, what's your question?
Okay. Well, my question was, how would you define a horror movie versus a monster movie?
That's actually a very good question. So, it'd be pretty hard to draw the line in there, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to use an example and compare 2 films without really getting into definitions, but you'll kind of just know what I'm talking about when I compare these 2, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Take the original Godzilla. We've already said that's a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
Now compare that to that Godzilla King Kong movie that came out last year or 2 years ago.
Right.
You can tell fundamentally the difference between them, right?
It's CGI MMA versus...
It's CGI MMA, monsters duking it out. There's no There's no chance to take in the aftermath, wide scale destruction.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like, all the characters live. There's no real risks or anything like that. It's kind of cool watching a giant monster just take out a whole city.
I mean, there's 100,000 Hong Kongers that would disagree with you, but that we don't care about that. That's fine.
We don't care.
No.
You know, they all lost their perfectly insured homes off screen, and they're going to get those back, and they didn't die.
Yep, totally didn't die.
Whereas in -1, that fucking city got obliterated, and everybody croaked.
Yes. That's it. That's a good point, where I'd wager that there was more city destruction in Godzilla vs. Kong, but it didn't feel as like high stakes as Godzilla -1.
Well, you also care about the characters in -1 at no point in any of these. Like, and I forget the names of all the old school Godzilla movies, right? But like the one with Mothra in it, or the one with the Ghidorah, is that the 3-headed guy? Yeah, so there's never a point where you're like, oh my god, the main characters that aren't the monsters in this might end up dead.
That's true.
I feel afraid for any of the characters that are in here, right?
Yeah. Whereas the, what is it? I can't remember her name from -1, but spoiler alert if you haven't seen -1, and plan to scoot forward about 60 seconds. But
60 seconds, and also go see it, because it's amazing.
But when the love interest, if you could say that,
the strictly platonic love interest,
right, she
the two people who live together and raise a child together, but are just friends.
There's
They're
nothing
just pals.
more.
They can't be romantic. Nobody's in love in movies anymore.
No, you can't have that. It's 2023. So these two agreeable adults. Yeah. But you know, she has a death scene that you think is going to be like, that's it. And it even shed a couple tears of her, you know, saving the lead character and then getting blown back by this like insane atomic blast. And that's where you just assume like, oh shit, this is it. And the movie takes a really dark turn of like, this guy's about A, kamikaze himself, and then B, just like totally destroy everything that this little girl has. But I mean, also in order to save Godzilla, or like kill Godzilla and save the city and everything, but still, like, this guy's really going all out in, you know, kamikaze mode. Not saying that in a weird way. It's literally what he's going to do. And then we don't find out until the very, very last scene of that, like, being saved, having it, like, actually, you know, they get another conversation and they have a nice little savior. But there's none of those stakes in any of the old modern legendary Godzilla movies. Even the one with Bryan Cranston. I mean, he died in the first like 20 minutes of that 2014 Godzilla reboot, which was sick, but not even sick compared to the rest of the movie series, where they just went, all right, yeah, we rebooted Godzilla. Now let's just have him fight all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Did you ever see The Host?
No, not yet. I have to.
And in fact, is that even the movie that I'm thinking of? Because that movie definitely blurs the line between the two. Because it's like a monster movie, right? Or I guess a Cloverfield. Did you ever see Cloverfield?
I did see Cloverfield, yeah.
Yeah, that one's a really good like found footage movie, and like you get a real sense of the wide scale destruction that monster causes, right? So it's not just about like, oh, here's a big monster, we're gonna have him fight another big monster, which is part of a monster movie. Yeah. It's more about the people that are affected by the monster.
That's a good point, because I haven't seen Cloverfield in a minute. I'll have to go through the rewatch. I remember it being really, really good, but I also feel like that whole movie was the stakes of the people rather than even revealing the monster. I feel like that only happened once or twice in the whole movie.
Yep.
So,
and it's the same here with Godzilla -1 as well. Of like, Godzilla's fucking terrifying in that movie.
Yeah.
The scene where like his spikes are coming out, and so now it's kind of like Jaws, only he's 200,000 times the size of that shark.
Right, dude. Yeah.
So good.
And I really want to get into Monarch. I'm going to get into Monarch here soon. I thought I would have some time off in this crazy break, but the holidays just, you know, love the holidays. But
they take over, yeah.
They take over. I was like, oh, cool, I have some time off of work. And they're like, oh, yeah, you needed that time off of work because everything else came crumbling down.
Because you're going to have to work some more.
Yeah, I'm going to have to come back and then hit it even harder. And then Yeah, but everyone is in the same boat there. But who's not in the same boat is for either next weekend or the next time that I got time off with the lady and I, we want to get Monarch, or we want to watch Monarch so bad. You know about Monarch?
It's like a Apple TV Godzilla show, isn't it?
Yeah, and apparently it's Legendary's version of trying to like make you care about the characters more than the monsters, which has not been done in the movies at all. So I'm excited to see it in TV form. And then just personally, I love Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell's in it, and his son's in it, and they play the same character in 2 different timelines. And so I'm just stoked on that. But hopefully the next time I talk to you, I'll have that under the belt and be able to recommend. But unfortunately, it's just another freaking streaming service. Like, I know there's tons of good stuff on Apple, and I get...
there's not enough of those streaming services.
No, there really isn't. I think we should make a Spooky School streaming service and just put on
Spooky
movies
School Plus.
Yeah. We should only stream free movies that you can find literally on YouTube anywhere.
Yeah, royalty-free movies that we just steal rips off the internet from and put it on there.
Yeah. But you can pay $1.99 a month for us. And then...
That's the bonus content, is listening to us talk about these shitty movies.
I'd like if most of it would be videotaped trauma movies from a CRT TV. So that's it. We could do it.
I got a VCR.
We could do it.
We could. Kurt Russell, it was in a horror movie called The Thing. You ever seen that one?
I love The Thing. The Thing.
Do you think that's a horror movie or a creature feature?
Damn. I'm gonna have to go with horror movie because there isn't like one set creature, and it's definitely there's definitely movement happening with, like, it falls under more of like a horror movie movement in the sense of like we have to run away from these mysterious things. We don't really know what the mysterious things are, and we're slowly figuring out. Then it just gets like real gross, but we don't actually see like a depiction of the thing, you know? So I'm gonna have to say straight up horror movie.
I would agree with you on that one.
But if there was like a face to a thing, like just a last minute level, like then maybe, who knows?
Where you get to see like the things like true form or whatever.
Yeah, but it also might ruin
I feel like
the
that
movie.
would like take away a little bit from the whole movie if you see what it actually looks like.
I do agree with that. At the end of the,
it's like the whole point of it being Alien, right?
Yeah. Just
like,
not even knowing.
There was a recent movie adaptation, but have you heard of the original short story of The Color Out of Space?
No, not yet.
Nicolas Cage is in the movie version, but it's an H.P. Lovecraft story. And we have to immediately disavow because he said some racist things once in the 1700s. So he's bad. We can't. I have to shake my head the whole time I'm talking about him so everybody knows I don't agree with him, okay?
Yeah.
So sorry if the audio levels are off. I gotta go like this.
The whole you don't agree with something that was said by a white man from the 1700s.
Well, okay. I have not only like the complete collection of Lovecraft, but I also have like this compilation of like letters that he wrote and other people wrote to him. Okay. And in those, there are his friends from that time period going, bro, you got to tone it down with the racism.
Oh, really?
And so if other people, like other white people from the early 1900s are being like, dog, you're a little too racist, maybe yeah, that's a sign that you really are.
Well, duly noted, because I have no idea what the comments are in the first part, but like I always just think like yeah, okay, if you're saying end a certain race of people, yeah, that's a big problem. But, yeah. So,
and it's not an art from the artist kind of thing. Like it's in the art. It's pretty bad. However, before I get too sidetracked, I brought this up because he wrote that original short story, "The Color of Outer Space," as like a challenge to come up with something that is so remotely alien that it would be unrecognizable. And it's a really cool story about like how alien life form crashes into the Earth. And it doesn't have like a real physical form. It's a color that our brain doesn't really recognize.
Oh,
and so just by being near it and seeing it, it can like drive you crazy.
That's nuts. I got really stoned in middle school once and was trying to think of a new color. And then the friend that I was with was just like, hey, dude, you can't think of a new color. And I was like, I'm going to invent a new color. And they're just like, you absolutely cannot invent a new color.
Yeah, I can. Watch me.
Yeah, I point to like this weird blade of grass, like this is Jimmy Green now. Like,
It's like regular green, but darker.
Yeah, darker like my soul as I'm smoking pot in the Injustice for All t-shirt. Like,
dude, hell yeah.
Yeah. So what's funny about that is I know of the Lovecraft stories, but I am not versed as much as I should be in a lot of the main ones and haven't read any of it for myself. And you know me, I'm pretty basic, so TV adaptions run strong for me. And so with that being said, I only watched I think it was on HBO. You remember the last Lovecraft? I think maybe it was called Lovecraft TV
Country.
show.
It was based on a novel by Matt Ruff.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know it didn't really have any connection to HP. What?
It's the book. I haven't watched the series. I read the book and it's really good. What was I trying to say there on this one? The main connections is like they definitely bring up Lovecraft's history, especially with racism.
That that was definitely
You
apparent.
know what? I want your live reaction. Go ahead and Google a certain poem by Lovecraft called On the Creation of, and just type that in, and then hopefully Google will fill in the blank there.
What the fuck?
So yeah, it's you get what I mean, like, oh, art versus artist. No, it's in the fucking art. You can't really pry one from the other.
That's a poem that he just decided to throw out there.
Just put out there, yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Oh. Yeah, all right. I could see it. After doing 10 seconds of research, I could see how it's a little bit problematic. So
just a teeny bit, right?
Yeah.
And then since you're not knowledgeable on the subject, and I need to get you one more time, everybody in the audience is going to collectively groan, but I don't care. You got to look up Lovecraft's cat.
I got a Reddit link.
Maybe to just type in Lovecraft's cat's name.
Yeah. Yep. I found it.
Now, I get to be the iPhone dork emoji for a second here. You ready?
Yeah.
Actually, Lovecraft's dad named that cat, so...
Oh, so then it's okay. And also, I could see where he got his ideas.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that is hilarious and wrong. So, HP, sorry, but I'm going to have to give you 2 thumbs down for your attitude.
I'm going to shake my head no the whole time so everybody knows I disavow.
Cool stories, but negative.
Negative. Canceled.
This white guy from Seattle says nay.
Says no.
Fuck, that's stupid. Like,
I have it somewhere. I'm too lazy to get up, right?
Uh-huh.
But there's a compilation of Lovecraft stories in middle school. That was like really my introduction to horror literature, right?
Okay.
And The Rats in the Walls is a story I'll never forget, reading that in middle school, because there's a cat in that story named after Lovecraft's cat.
Ah.
And I had the version that was not changed, and in middle school going, that's a weird name for a cat.
That is a weird name for a cat, especially because the 2 words that make up the cat's name, neither of which describe the cat.
No, the cat is definitely not a man.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny. I'll give him that, but not gonna be able to use that. No,
or would I want to?
No. Although it would be a funny trend to name your animals after famous people's animals. But it'd probably be bad luck to name what's Biden's dog's name? It should be called Nipper for all the bites, but wasn't it?
That dog said ACAB. That dog's based as hell.
Yeah. It's like, oh, cops are protecting my owner. Gotta bite them all.
Gonna take them all out.
Yeah, that'd be bad if I named my dog that. But
I wonder what J.K. Rowling's cat name is.
Gonna look that up right now.
I'm sure it's some sort of horrible slur that we can't say or agree with.
Crookshanks.
I don't even want to know what that translates into.
Cruikshanks.
You probably just got us banned in Germany.
Yeah. Yeah, right. No, I thought it was a lovely sausage, Mr. Kraut. Like,
I thought it was a cat.
yeah. No, that's all good. Please don't throw me in the oven.
Anyway.
We're talking about Germans, right?
I watched a Robin Williams interview once where he was in Germany. And the host was talking about, like, it must be kind of hard doing a comedy tour in Germany. Germans aren't really known for their sense of humor. No hesitation. None whatsoever. You probably already know where this is going, right? He just goes, do you ever stop to think that maybe you killed all the funny ones? None. Like, instant, just... The guy didn't even finish his question, and he instantly was just like, boom, I'm ready for you. I am going directly there.
Holy Christ, dude. That's hilarious.
So, RIP to a real one. We love you.
Yeah, Robin was the best, is the best.
Anyway.
What's your cat name going to be?
Cracker
Binky. Lady?
Binky.
Binky? I like that.
Mocha.
Frappuccino. I actually thought that a good name for a Chihuahua would be chorizo.
Is that some sort of horrible racist slur that I'm not aware of?
No, it's just Spanish or Mexican meats, depending on if you like it hard or if you like it soft.
All right.
And that, surprisingly, is not a sexual euphemism, so...
Whatever you're into, pal.
Yeah.
You can save those convos for another podcast, all right? This isn't a sex therapy for...
This is a horror movie podcast, so we have to talk about this zombie porno that you made me watch earlier. No,
that's the next one that we're watching.
Yeah.
Or not the next one, the one after one, because the next one's Maggie.
Oh, right.
The one after that one's Dead Girl. That one's going to be testing the limits. You're going to either be like, wow, that was a very transgressive piece of media that really challenged me on a lot of different things, or go, I'm done doing this podcast. Stop making me watch these weird sex pervert movies.
Well, judging by the name alone, we're talking about old comedians. I'll have to go to Rodney Dangerfield and say, well, Dead Girl, what are you talking about, my wife?
I saw that one post of like somebody, it was a picture of Rodney Dangerfield. My wife said she's going to go to Five Nights at Freddy's. I said, have fun at the movie. She said, what movie? And that's only funny to boomers like me.
I love Dangerfield, dude. He's the best. He's got one of the best "Your Mama's So Fat" jokes, which is it was like, I met this lady. She was so fat, she wore high heels and she struck oil.
That's only funny when you're 70 years old like me.
Yeah.
And just help invented the whole genre of, I hate my wife.
Yeah, what are you going to do? I went to the bar. He said, what drink you want? I said, surprise me. He showed me a picture of my wife. That was only funny before camera phones and like social media.
Or realizing that maybe you should love the person that you're married to.
Yeah, you don't marry for love. That's a very recent thing, is marrying for love.
That's a very recent thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like my new obsession lately. You can make fun of me all you want. I am sticking by how cool it is without even watching the movie yet. Not watching the movie, I've gotten ridiculously into the Fiddler on the Roof soundtrack.
Okay.
And so for me, little musical background, my favorite like keys and like moods and music are like come from the harmonic minor, which is primarily a lot of like Middle Eastern or Jewish influenced, or like a lot of the kind of like darker tonalities that come out of music. And so Fiddler on the Roof is an old Russian Jewish story. And so the music in there is all, well, not all, but a lot of it has these harmonic minor influences. And so I've been listening to a lot of it without, like, I think I saw the movie when I was a child. Have not seen it in, I'll confidently say, 20 years. And I've listened to the soundtrack this past month probably like 6 or 7 times.
It's catchy. Sometimes you just got to get invested into a musical. Right.
It is so good. But the reason why I brought it up is because we were talking about being married for love. And there's this whole song in the soundtrack where the husband keeps on asking, do you love me? And each response from the lady is, of course I love you. I do your laundry. I clean for you. Well, sorry, she doesn't even say, of course I love you. She, it said, do you love me? And she goes, I cook for you. I raise your children. It's like, yes, but do you love me? It's like, well, I clean the house and I follow God. Well, do you love me? And she's just trying to badger the question the whole time. And like, I don't know when Fiddler on the Roof was written, but definitely.
1992.
Really?
Just kidding. No.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was like, the movie's way older than that, or at least should be. But
I'm pretty sure it was a musical way before it was a movie, was it not?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and Google that now on the Google machine.
Well, you had to go to a theater to watch people perform it live in front of you. Like a freak.
If I were a rich man, yada, 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 yada. Looks like 1964 was the first year that it was on Broadway, but when was it? All right, so when it's on Broadway, I'll consider it real. I can't exactly find when it was written initially, but yeah.
We should do an episode all about like horror musicals.
Which one would be the horror musical?
There's plenty to choose from.
Rocky Horror Picture Show is definitely one of them.
Definitely one of them, yeah. Repo the Genetic Opera. And then, of course, the most obvious one. I'm going to make you guess this, and if you get it wrong, I'm hanging up the call, and we're never doing this podcast ever again.
The TV series Death Clock?
You are kind of close. I actually found out recently that there is an entire musical on Death Note, the anime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. That is cool.
Come on. It's only like the most popular play of all time.
Only the most popular
musical
play of all time?
What? Yeah. It was like the number one thing on Broadway forever.
The Phantom of the Opera?
There you go. You got it.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I that's 1930s. I had to go past the 70s first.
I think the play came out in the 80s.
Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah. It's based on a book that came out in like the 1800s.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 1880s
but the
maybe.
Musical itself... I want to say 86. I was right. Yes.
Wow. Never mind. That's pretty lit. I had no idea. I always assumed that it was just like Nosferatu era type shit.
We always think of that as being like some timeless story, right?
Yeah.
Or just as long as you and I have known about musical theater, there's always been Phantom of the Opera. Do you think it's kind of weird our parents lived before there was a Phantom of the Opera?
That is strange. I don't like that at all, actually, when I think about it.
Yeah.
It's like my dad was technically born before Kiss, but he hasn't been like
Knights in Satan Square.
Yeah, Night in Satan Square. Yet he hasn't been conscious since Kiss was like a band. So it came out when he was, I want to say like 5, 6, 7 or something like that. So like that I'll count. But it is weird to think that like, because like before Kiss is pretty much just like, what are you listening to music on the parlophone? Like.
Who came out first? I want to say Kiss. Kiss or Judas Priest?
Oh, dude, that's a tough one, actually. I'm going to have to look.
1974 was the first Judas Priest album.
1973 was when Kiss was formed, so Judas Priest might have him beat. Yeah, Judas Priest formed in 1969.
Jeez, holy shit.
Wow, power to the priestess.
Hell yeah. I saw them play at that Kent Stadium.
Really?
Yeah, a few years ago.
Right. Okay, so I was doing some thinking the other day, and we brought up Godzilla earlier. And so Godzilla, like the entire budget is a CGI classroom, right? You have to do so much to make it work so good. And I'm not even saying that as a complaint, because I do think that it looks really good. I'm going to watch all the movies there, but it got me thinking that before CGI, you had to deal with the real animals. And we hear a couple of stories of, in this one, it's the shark. And there's that one with the lion where, like, the lion accidentally mauls someone on set. And they have, like, did you ever hear that story?
About a horror movie with the lion that mauled somebody?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's maybe just called Lion, but they were trying to go to some, like, Cannibal Island, and then when they actually made it there, it was like they were trying to film with all these. So this is obviously pre-CGI, but they want to make it real. So instead of like having an animatronics budget, they're just like, all right, let's get the real animals in here.
Oh yeah. So the movie was called Roar.
Right. Yeah.
In 1981, and it looks like an actual like accident happened. That's kind of what happens when you film with real wildlife.
Yeah, I mean, especially untrainable, like things like as I'm looking down the looking glass to start my new life down in old Tejas, I found this fact of there's more lions and tigers in captivity in Texas than there are in all of the wild outside.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to buy a tiger's cub because it's gonna sound pretty cool.
You need to get a whole pack just in case the one gets lonely.
Right, exactly. But why I was bringing any of this up is I was saying you, behind the camera, being the directorial wizard with free reign that you want to be, but you have no CGI when it comes to animals, and you have to film with something remotely dangerous. What are you going for?
The two rules that I was always told was never work with animals, never work with kids.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because both are just as bad, if not worse. A kid will never maul you to death, right?
Right.
But animals and children are uncontrollable, pretty much.
Yeah.
So give me the scenario again. What was it?
So you cannot use CGI for something that you're filming, but you need to use a relatively dangerous animal. And what I say relatively meaning like it doesn't have to be a lion or a crocodile, but it also can't be a trained dog or a house cat.
Okay. I'm going to go with snapping turtle.
It's actually not a bad poll.
We have a movie about an entire village that just gets invaded by snapping turtles.
Oh, that's low-key terrifying.
And at first, like, it's just one or two. Oh, you just run away. Oh, now you're surrounded.
All these guys that really get the neck out and the chomps out. And
then, right?
Yeah, fuck. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And they're just aggressive for whatever reason. Well, we throw in the environmental message. There's too much plastic in the ocean, and they're pissed.
So they need human flesh.
So they need human flesh, and they come out and they just start fucking biting people.
Well, that's what they find out is with all the plastic inside of them, the turtle scientist, they realize that the only thing that gets the plastic out of the bellies is human meat. And so the turtle scientists go together and they're like, let's turn on everybody, all right? So, actually, I was down in New Orleans, and we did go like alligator watching in one of those like airboat tours. You know those big ass. Yeah. And first of all, incredibly cool area. Just the swamps down there are next level gothic, definitely horror like visuals of just like all these drooping trees with like waters that you have no idea how deep or shallow it is, but you need a boat no matter what. That's why there's airboats are fucking everywhere.
Right.
And just some really insane, like I'm talking, I don't want to overblow it up. Let me hit something realistic.
Over-exaggerate.
It would have to be like a 30-story tall tree. Like these are some of the biggest fucking trees that I'm so surprised that didn't get knocked over from hurricanes or anything. And then the person that was taking us around, he lived on the bayou in a house that's like in one of those trees.
Oh shit.
And he pointed to like halfway up one of these giant fucking trees and said that's how high the Gulf was on the last hurricane. Where like his house is like
his tree house.
His treehouse, 40, 50 feet in the air, got water on the ground. Because, yeah, and that's how just wild that the waters are down there and everything. But
I think moral of the story is don't live in a swamp.
Yeah, for real. And don't live in a swamp with a 70-foot difference in water. Like, that's like just insane. But so one of the craziest things, because I fucking love gators. They're really cool,
they're
but like
cool.
Also terrifying. And so we drove past a couple that were like serious size, but not too crazy. We're talking like maybe 6-7 feet when you know that there's like 12-15 feet out there, but we're just chilling with some of the smaller guys. And he said in his very French Cajun accent, just like, "The boy really like the marshmallows." And so he had like a bag of marshmallows that he was just throwing on the water, and then you just get like a gator head come up and just like whoop,
and just go back into the swamp.
Yeah. And it was like halfway through the whole hang, he just goes into his pocket and he pulls out this baby alligator that's like no more than just like middle finger to like middle of the forearm, and he's just like,
and he just has it on him.
He just had it on him, and so I guess
he forgot, and he goes to sit down.
Yeah. Dude, and so the reason why it was so crazy is because he said like a lot of the baby gators won't make it into like full adulthood, and they had a problem. Even though you think like alligator, like that's dangerous for humans, but also apparently they're really important for the ecosystem down there. And since they need them to be out there, whenever he finds babies, he catches the babies and lets them go when they're like 2 feet.
Aww.
And so he'll just like he'll just raise all these gator babies, which is adorable. And so I got to hold the little baby gator go all around. Made me really, really want one. But
until they grow up.
Right, exactly. But then we got back to the thing, and you know, this is a family business like a lot of things in the South, and there's this grandpa with an even thicker accent than him, and he goes like, "You want to come see Munch Munch?" And we're like,
Munch Munch? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was like, sure, dude, what's going on? And he just takes us over to this tub that is like a built just like 5 feet into the ground giant tub where you look down, and the snapping turtle is the size of the, I mean, it's gotta be like 5 feet by 4 feet is this snapping turtle in size of just like, and I was just like, dude, that's incredible. What do you like? What do you, and
then he pushed you into it.
Yeah, right. Apparently he can climb out and like walk around, but he just likes going back to this hole, and which I found, like, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a lie, but that's still cool. But when I asked him, like,
no, dude, he can climb out whenever he wants to, and at night he can fly.
Yeah, true. But I had asked, dude, I was like, dude, what the hell do you feed this thing? This is like a probably multiple 100-pound snapping turtle. And he just looks and he goes like, you'll feed it dang anything. And I was like,
true.
Good to know, dude.
I don't think he would complain about anything he eats.
Right. So, you know, am I getting a snapping turtle or an alligator? No. But if I have my entire life fail and I need a change in life and I move to New Orleans with a snapping turtle and some alligators, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, it doesn't seem half bad when you put it that way, so.
But yeah, if I had to pick an animal to work with and do a horror film around, definitely snapping turtles. You get all the shots of snapping turtles going on a rampage far away from humans. You make your one snapping turtle puppet for all the close-ups of people getting bit.
Yeah. Just looking like a sci-fi monster, just a little whoop.
Mm-hmm. Just like a little hand puppet, so whenever anybody actually gets bit on the ankle, they're just and pulled off.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to deal with them. They don't stink. They probably won't shit and piss all over the floor in the between takes. Who knows?
We can definitely hope.
I don't even know if turtles can poop.
I think they have a cloaca.
Yeah, I know what that word is.
Oh,
no, I totally know. I was just testing you to see what you know. Okay,
cool. Yeah. Well, this is only because I have some gross friends, and but no. So a while ago, just like anyone with high hopes and dreams before they get crushed, there was an idea from a couple of my friends about starting this musical collective called Lizard Belly, and I think it's still going on. I can't say that I'm a part of it. I think I'm still a part of a group chat, like at least in the group chat, but I have not.
Go in there and be like, "Hey, talking shit about you right now on this podcast."
I wish them the best, but you know, it's just hard to start collectives. You know, it's just never easy to go on creative endeavors with people, especially when it's 10, 15 people from Seattle. You know,
so you got to start your own one-man band, black metal band.
Right, exactly. But in Lizard Belly, they were talking up the cloaca because they wanted to have like the cloaca be like some type of like multiple album release. And so I was like, what's the cloaca? And it's like, oh, it's where it's birds and lizards have it, and it's where you shit, piss, and come out the same hole. And and so that's what they wanted to title the recurring album. That's what I thought too, but I was like, that's actually a horrible birth defect that you need to get checked out. So maybe you have it too, but
what?
We'll see.
That's not a defect.
Nah, yeah.
That's called being productive. All right, I'm using
all my brain cells. All right,
exactly. Yeah.
but yeah. So that's where I learned where the cloaca was, and again, I hope that they rule and they continue doing things. But there's a lot of really good visual artists in there. So
okay.
Yeah, if you want to see some trippy stuff, I'm pretty sure all the old YouTube and Instagram stuff is still up on from Lizard Belly. So
well, I'll go into that group chat and start talking shit immediately.
Yeah, it's like listen, Jimmy, this guy that only some of you kind of know is, he's still a dick. You thought he was a dick before, still going on it.
Still going on it to this day.
Yeah. Which, fair enough. So we were talking about monster movies earlier, and I gotta say, listen, this might be a little classless, but I was thinking about, you know how there's spaghetti westerns?
Yes.
There should be spaghetti monsters. All right.
Yeah.
There should be a certain level of like Italy's Godzilla. Like, why doesn't Italy or Spain have a Godzilla when they have all these westerns? I know it's a little bit different, where it's like, I mean, sure that they have horror movies, but like, it just doesn't. What?
We're gonna have an entire season about Italian horror movies.
Oh, are we really?
As far as giant kaiju films, I have no comments to make on that. I don't know if they have any kaiju. I wouldn't be surprised if one producer during that time period tried to make something.
A giant spaghetti monster?
A gigantic spaghetti monster. But yes,
All
Italy is world famous for their brand of horror and how they depict scary shit.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, I don't know if you noticed, but the movie that we were watching on this one was also made in Italy, dubbed over.
Oh, Italy. That's why I had to read the whole time. That was weird.
But yeah, they have an entire, basically an entire subgenre of Italian horror called giallo. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. I believe it just means yellow, but
that's kind of tight.
We'll talk more about it when we get into it, but it's basically like film noir and murder mysteries with really hyper violence.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say really hot women
because
it's Italy.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, come on, Italy. But
yeah, dude. When I went to Spain with my wife, sister-in-law, and her friend too, like it was just one of those things where it was like every other block I looked over at Maddie, and I was just like, yeah, man, I understand if you run away with him. Oh yeah, I understand if you run away with him. Like it's just like, what the fuck is going on here, dude?
You gotta be more proactive than that. You can't just be like, oh, I get it. You gotta be like, hey, why don't we invite him over?
Actually, I mean, that is fair. I should have had my own angle in there, but the thing that did give me a lot of confidence is most of this, like there was tons of hot Spanish dudes that were in our age range, but all of the Spanish men that were like in their 50s, 60s, whatever, I mean, they're just short, fat, and loud. And so I was like, oh, what's up, dude? And they all had babes too. So I was like, okay. So
they all wear hats with the first letter of their first name on it.
Yeah. This is Juan Carlos. Is it a J or an H? I don't know. Time to go back to Spanish.
I don't know. Time to go back.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, speaking about those crazy Europeans, were we supposed to review Zombie 2?
Zombie 2, famous Italian horror film?
Yeah. The unofficial sequel to Zombie.
To Zombie, which was actually Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie kind of sucked, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say other than that. This movie was not that great.
Yeah, well.
I mean, there was the scene where the zombie bites the shark. That was cool.
The zombie biting the shark, that was a real shark.
That was a real shark.
That was a real shark. I did appreciate how the movie felt more like a monster movie than a horror movie, which is another reason why I wanted to have that conversation, because it's like, it placed itself in a way that is stronger to old kaiju movies than it is like modern day zombie movies, which I at least found interesting. But was it interesting enough to save?
It was interesting when you were like, your head's rocking back, and then you do the thing where you jolt up and you're awake for 2 seconds, and then you go, oh yeah, that was cool. And then you go back to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, next movie's going to be way cooler.
All right, cool. What's the next movie?
The next movie's called Maggie.
Oh, sick.
And we were talking earlier about monster movie versus like horror film.
Uh-huh.
This one will probably be a discussion of what even like counts as a horror film.
Okay.
But it stars your favorite actor in it,
Schwarzenegger,
who's gonna be playing a. Do I even want to spoil it? Do you know anything about this movie at all?
No, not yet. We're gonna have to dive into it.
All right. Well, the general premise is Arnold's granddaughter gets bit by a zombie, and he has to take care of her as she's dying. And that's the whole film.
All right, I'm ready.
It is not a happy movie in the slightest.
This sounds intense.
It was one of those things where I first heard the premise and I was like, okay, that seems like a pretty interesting indie drama. I'll go check that out. And then I saw who starred in it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Excuse
me?
Drama? How?
You mean... All right, dude. Well, yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. So
stay tuned for next week. Thank you for joining in our in-depth discussion of Zombie 2 for this week.
Zombie 2!
I give it -2 stars. This movie kind of sucked ass.
I give it, if you can... Well, no, I watched it on YouTube. And I give it that if you literally have no idea what to watch in a night, and you've also inebriated yourself to a certain extent, go watch this movie on YouTube. But if you have to rent it, don't.
There's a lot better things that you could do. Figure out how much it costs to rent. Go get that in cash and give it to a homeless person.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. They're going to love to sort through $4 real and 99 worthless cents.
Pennies.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, good looks.
Good looks. Until we meet again, take care and stay spooky, my friends. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. See ya!
See ya!
You survived another episode of Spooky School. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe for weekly content, and leave a review if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Check out our Patreon page for extra content too hot for YouTube. Until we meet again, take care and stay spooky.